If you walk a few short blocks from UB, you'll come across the Maryland Institute College of Art, or MICA. This institution has been churning out new artists since its founding in 1826. In order to facilitate a stronger sense of community between UB and MICA, the UB Post will use MICA Mondays to showcase up-and-coming artists.
I'm RJ Sterling. I'm an illustrator and a comic book artist and an educator located in Maryland. I just graduated undergrad in the illustration department at the Maryland Institute College of Art in Baltimore, and I am there for grad school trying to get my master's in art education. Right now, I do a lot of comics. I own my own LLC called Hilarious Comics, but I'm also teaching a number of kids from kindergarten through 12th grade, going to various talks and stuff like that, and just spreading my story and my work. So I've been drawing since I was little. Grew up on comic books, Spider-Man, DC characters, Superman, Batman, but I grew up reading these comics and I would just look in the comics and just copy these characters, and it went from drawing Spider-Man and Superman and making little short comic books about them interacting to then like, ooh, I want to make my own characters. So I started making a lot of characters that look like me because, as we all know, there's not a lot of African-American characters in comic books. So I was making my own characters and I put them under this brand, Hilarious Comics, in like 5th grade. And started making books like that. And so I've continued to make comic books. I went to art school at MICA, like I said, to kind of fine tune my technical skills, get a little better at drawing the anatomy and everything. But I've continued to draw characters and comics that highlight underrepresented characters. So my stories feature a lot of characters of color, a lot of queer characters, a lot of female characters dealing with stuff that we all deal with, whether it's mental health, whether it's, autism and stuff like that, social hierarchy, you name it. It's all in the comics and the characters are dealing with it, whether they have superpowers or they're aliens or whatever. What inspires me, I think this should be true for any artist, is just the world around you. I write a lot of stories and my stories have to be drawn from something. If I'm doing a story about a character who's dealing with trauma, it's probably trauma that I've experienced, or it's trauma that I've heard people, talk about in detail to me, which just fuels the stories. Because a big part of my work is storytelling, and I feel like everyone has a story that they need to tell, and not everyone has the tools necessary that they feel to tell those stories. It's easy to have so many plans, especially like as an artist or just as a person, to want to do so many things. Right now I want to get through grad school, and after I get through grad school and kind of get that certificate, I want to spend more time to focus on my comic book brand and figure out what it means to me and what it can mean to my target audience. Not everyone reads comic books, but everyone can take something, I feel like, from my stories. My goal later on is to start writing out more stories and to get more creatives and artists on board with the brand, so we can branch into so many different areas, like, video games. I've been talking with one friend. That's what I'm trying to do. So graduate, get that certificate, and also, grow my brand. Okay, so you can find me on Instagram at RJ_arts_ and Hilarious Comics 1. And I have a show coming up at MICA. If you don't know where MICA is, just look it up on Google, it'll show up. I have a show where I'm turning a whole installation into one of the worlds in my comic book, so it's gonna be really cool.